Hi everyone. Today is August 16th and I am gardening in zone 3 in northern Minnesota. And everyone seems to be as concerned as I am about whether we're going to have enough time for our tomatoes to get ripe. So I thought we would just do a little tomato tour. So I am growing several different varieties in our greenhouse in the snow, way down there. And how many of you plant things and then don't label them properly in the garden? And I don't remember which variety is where. So what I did is I wrote down in this journal a little picture of which ones I planted where. And I'm already seeing that I probably wasn't very accurate because this is supposed to be a cherry tomato. That is definitely not a cherry tomato. So here's my little drawing. I should have a Napa cherry, a Berry's Crazy cherry, Cherokee purple. And really what I've been wanting to find out is where this Aunt Ruby's German green tomato is, because they may be ready and you can't tell because they're still green. So it should be the fourth one in the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this monster back here. So there aren't any tomatoes. Oh, there's a little one down here. But they feel really hard yet. This big one back here, but that feels really hard too. I think I labeled this cherry tomato even wrong, which variety it is. I think this is a blue cream cherry tomato and not a Berry's Crazy. Wow, look at the size of that one. Looks like a couple of blossoms got stuck together. Look at the size of that. But it looks like this little one is fused to it there. But this is how I grow tomatoes in our greenhouse in the snow. I really like this stringing up 2 liters from each plant. And I will say I let some of the suckers go. I like to prune the suckers. Hey Skittles, what you doing in here? Okay, let me see if I can find a sucker here. So here's a really big one that's gotten away from me. So you see where this is a leaf, and then this is like the armpit of this is the main stem, and this is a leaf. This right here is a sucker, and it'll just grow a whole nother, it'll flower if you let it get big enough, but I like to clip those off on most of them because I feel like it puts all the energy into the tomato. At least that's always what I've been told. And then instead of getting a lot of the little tomatoes, I will get some really big ones, which is what I think people like to buy at the farmer's market. I know that's what I like to buy. So here again is the sucker. So I will just come in and then this either goes to the chickens or in the compost pile. So here's a smaller one. You can see there's the leaf and the main stem, and this little thing growing in the armpit here. Just pull it off, that's a sucker. I've got some Romas growing back here. So these 2 plants over here, the soaker hose doesn't quite reach. I see the soaker hose it ends there. So these plants are later in developing, I feel like, but I'm getting some tomatoes. This one has a lot of flowers, so those might be a little bit behind the rest of these, which would be fine. This was my first tomato that I saw in the greenhouse, and it is now starting to turn to blush a little. So, it's so hard to wait. All of the tomatoes have been really healthy in here. I think I noticed One tomato had some hornworm damage, but everything else has been really healthy. I added some calcium, some bone meal to the soil when I planted them, and we just use a soaker hose to water. And I'm not all that good about watering all that regularly. I mean, I try to do it every 2 or 3 days, depending on how long I forget and leave the soaker hose on for, or how hot it is in here to dry it out. But everything's been really healthy. Not a lot of pest pressure in here. Hey kids, you want a treat? I do have some tomatoes outside too, just to see the difference. It's practically like we're growing them outside inside the greenhouse because it's not finished. But here is my first red tomato. That's a paste tomato. And I have some more slicers out here that, you know, they're not very big. I did plant these a little later, but these are pretty small. This was, I've said in the past that the Thorburn's Terracotta, they were the earliest inside and out, and these are turning. They're not huge, and they got a little cracked. When I was stringing these up, it looks like we kind of damaged the stem there, so tied it up a little. And then this is the paste tomato bed. And this is the one, this was my very first tomato on the whole property. And it's starting to feel soft. There's a few more paste tomatoes in here. Nothing massive. And this tomato bed was where I was seeing the hornworm damage. And actually it was this plant that the tomato is on that the hornworm did its most damage. But I know I am not the only one worried about whether our tomatoes are going to have time to turn. Oh, looks like something got into this one. I'm picking my first tomato. There it is. This is a paste tomato from Fruition Seeds, I think. What took you so long? Where have you been? Unfortunately, it rained last night, so it'll probably have a diluted flavor, but it's been raining every night. I've never grown these Thorburn's Terracotta, and I can't quite tell if they're ready by looking at them. They seem like they should be on there a little longer, but you know how you don't want to leave it on there too long and get mushy? So I think I'm gonna pick it. They seem just soft. And this one has a pretty good split in it. I'm worried a bug's gonna get in there, but we're gonna try it. Hard to believe we're finally picking tomatoes.